Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Dozun? These two simple words appeared to possess a demonic power that instantly caused the air above the land to solidify. The chilly-killing aura that was formed by the many Ice River Valley's disciples completely collapsed in the face of these two words. Two figures slowly walked out of the entrance of the valley. Xiao Yan lifted the little fairy doctor up, and saw the hint of blood on the corner of her mouth. The slight smile on his face involuntarily tightened. However, this smile was filled with a killing aura and a chilly feeling. Have you succeeded? The little fairy doctor looked at Qian Huazunja behind Xiao Yan and asked joyfully. Xiao Yan grinned slightly and nodded. He asked, "Are you all right? It's just some minor injuries." The little fairy doctor randomly replied. This time around, she had paid some attention and did not allow the ice sun force to invade her body. Additionally, that Tian she wanted to capture her alive. Therefore, he had held back when he launched his palm attack. It was due to this that her injuries were not considered serious. Xiao Yang grabbed the little fairy doctor's hand. He only felt assured after probing her. Turning his head, he looked at Tian Shi in the sky, whose face had suddenly turned volatile and uneasy. He smiled as he said, "This elder's blows are really heavy." Tian Shi's expression was dark and solemn as he glanced at Xiao Yang. After which, he let out a cold snort. His eyes slid to Tian Huazunja. Although he had yet to say a word, the vague pressurizing feeling that spread from his body caused Tian Shi to feel as though his heart had tightened. This kind of pressure was something that he had only sensed from the Ice River Valley's valley chief and another old demon who had always surpassed him. Those two had truly stepped into the Dozun class. In other words, this plain old man was definitely a Dozun expert. The appearance of this person should be that of the spiritual body back then. At that time, he had only reached the level of an 8-star Dozun. Now, however, it seems like that was done on purpose. A thought quickly passed through Tian Shi's heart in this quiet atmosphere. Due to Tian Huazunja's soul completely merging with this new body, even the appearance of the body had changed. It had turned into one that was similar to Tian Huazunja's soul. Therefore, Tian Shi had managed to recognize Tian Huazunja as the spiritual body from just a glance. "This friend, we can choose not to pursue the matter of you having killed the elder of the Ice River Valley. However, my Ice River Valley cannot let off these people. Hopefully, on account of my valley's chief face, Tian Shi was worthy of being an expert renowned for a long time." Even when facing an elite Dozun, he was still able to calm himself after losing his composure. He cupped his hands respectfully to Tian Huazunja, but he was interrupted before he could say all that he wanted to say. "I am unfamiliar with your valley chief. The old me doesn't think I need to give him any face." Tian Huazunja gently twisted his arm. He still felt a little unfamiliar after having merged with this body. However, this feeling of possessing a physical body was really too wonderful. He glanced at Xiao Yang beside him and smiled. After which, he raised his head and answered Tian Shi with a smile. Tian Shi's expression slightly sank when he heard this. With his status and strength, it had been a long time since someone dared to say such words to him. While Tian Shi's expression had sunk, the three Ice River Valley's elders not far below also gradually recovered from their shock. Their gazes contained disbelief as they looked at the old man behind Xiao Yang. Dozun? How was it possible that this group of people would possess an expert at such a level? Tian Shi furiously cried out as he pointed his finger at Tian Huazunja. The icy-cold, large dragon in the sky immediately let out a roar. It widened its large mouth as a dragon aura, dozens of feet large, shot toward Tian Huazunja in a lightning-like fashion. Faint white-colored ice fragments appeared wherever the dragon's aura passed. Tian Huazunja's finger gently cut the space in front of him as he looked at the icy-cold dragon aura that shot over. The air was just like thin paper as it was torn apart. A dark black spatial crack, that looked just like a pocket, appeared out of nowhere. The dragon's aura was sucked into it. Tian Huazunja rubbed the crack with his hand after the dragon's aura was absorbed into it. The spatial line strangely disappeared. He raised his head, aimed his hand at the distant dragon, and suddenly clenched it, spatial strangling. The space of the entire place immediately began to fluctuate after Tian Huazunja's soft cry sounded. The space around the icy-cold, large dragon swiftly became distorted. Spatial folds could even be vaguely seen. Crack! A dark black broken layer appeared after the folds revealed themselves. The large dragon's body was forcefully torn apart by the spatial distortion. After which, it was swallowed into the dark black crevice. The icy-cold dragon immediately roared at the sky after its body broke. Its enormous body carried an incomparable sonic boom as it charged over toward Qian Huazunja. Qian Huazunja revealed an empty smile as he watched the icy-cold, large dragon charge over. He suddenly clenched his hand. Crack! More space was swiftly distorted. Numerous folds continuously appeared. The location where each fold appeared was the spot where the dragon was located. It had yet to even reach 1,000 feet from Qian Huazunja when its enormous body was shattered into pieces and swallowed into nothingness. By the time the icy-cold, large dragon had charged at Qian Huazunja, only its enormous head remained. Qian Huazunja extended his hand and pressed it on the dragon's forehead. With a flick of his finger, that ice dragon was shattered into ice fragments that permeated the sky, throwing an egg against a stone, utterly weak. The faces of Qian Shi and the others immediately turned red the moment the ice dragon was shattered. They spat out mouthfuls of fresh blood at the same time. An elite Dozun was this terrifying. All the elite Ice River Valley's disciples also flew backwards, appearing to suffer from a heavy blow, while Qian Shi was forced back. After which, they collapsed onto the ground one after another. No one knew if they were dead or alive. Only the 3 white-cloaked elders present were able to barely stabilize their bodies. However, their faces were currently covered in shock. None of them had expected the great formation, formed from all of their strengths, would be unable to last for even one exchange in the hands of this person in front of them. An elite Dozun was indeed not someone they could defeat by just relying on numbers. This person's control of spatial strength has reached an incredible level. He doesn't appear like someone who has just advanced to the Dozun class. Some shock swiftly surged into Qian Shi's eyes as he stabilized his body. He swiftly scanned over the Ice River Valley's disciples who had been shaken until they were unconscious. His eyes flickered. My Ice River Valley has miscalculated this matter today. With this person protecting the woeful poison lady, it is impossible for the old me to capture them alone. I can only head back and inform the valley chief about this matter. Qian Shi was indeed an old, crafty fellow. After this exchange, he knew this mission would not progress any further this time around. Therefore, he decisively clenched his teeth and a mighty, cold air gathered on his palm. After which, his fist smashed onto the empty space behind him. This empty space immediately became distorted when his fist was thrown at it. A dark black spatial tunnel appeared behind him. Bing Xiao, leave with me. The dark black spatial tunnel had just appeared when Qian Shi's hand grabbed toward the 3 white-cloaked elders. A suction force surged out and sucked all 3 of them to his side without any resistance. His body moved and entered the spatial tunnel. Don't let him escape. Xiao Yan hurriedly cried out when the dark black tunnel appeared. There was naturally no need for Xiao Yan to open his mouth to remind Qian Huazunja when it came to something like this. Qian Huazunja swiftly reacted to the situation. His palm aimed at the black spatial tunnel from a distance before he ruthlessly clenched it. An invisible ripple spread and one could see the spatial tunnel begin to swiftly collapse. The expression of Qian Shi suddenly changed when the spatial tunnel collapsed. A cold glint immediately flickered in his eyes. His palm slammed onto the back of a white-cloaked elder and a frightening cold air surged out, sending this elder flying in the process. Another 2 loud noises appeared. An even more powerful cold wave surged and spread in a lightning-like fashion. Some of the large rocks on the ground were covered by the tough ice almost immediately because of this icy-cold wave. The Ice River Valley's disciples on the ground were quickly transformed into many lifelike ice sculptures. The life within their bodies was completely frozen at this instant. The 2 large, ice-cold waves that had erupted shook the invisible interfering force of Qian Huazunja until it collapsed. The spatial tunnel rotated and a pale-faced Qian Shi swiftly entered it. Finally, he disappeared. It's a small world and we will meet again. The matter today is definitely not over. All of you should wait to be killed by my Ice River Valley. While Qian Shi's figure was disappearing, a vicious, dense voice was slowly being transmitted from the spot where the spatial tunnel disappeared. After which, it reverberated over this valley's entrance. Qian Huazunja slightly knit his brows when he saw that Qian Shi had successfully fled. He had not expected this person to be able to part space and flee despite not having reached the Dozun class. Moreover, he had underestimated the heartlessness of that fellow as well. He had willingly sacrificed 3 Dozun elders in order to flee. He escaped? The little fairy doctor's eyebrows were vertical as she softly exclaimed. Qian Huazunja slightly nodded. Although he currently possessed a body, he did not truly possess the strength of a Dozun yet. He needed to wait until he had familiarized himself with this body in order to be called a true Dozun. We will let you decide where we should go. You can be considered to have given the old me a second chance to live. The old me will return you this favor. Qian Huazunja fondled his beard as he spoke with a smile to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yang smiled. He mused for a moment before replying, since Qianxi has already fled, it is likely that the Ice River Valley will learn about us soon. Therefore, it is likely that we can no longer remain here. Moreover, the Fallen God Valley is not a suitable place if we wish to help the little fairy doctor resolve the issue of her woeful poison body. The poison vapor in this place is too dense. If the woeful poison body retaliates, we will end up with a trouble that we cannot predict. Hence, we must find a place that is filled with light and heat. That kind of place will be able to suppress the woeful poison body, and it will raise the chance of success by 10%, filled with light and heat. Qian Huazunja and the little fairy doctor pondered the options. It was not easy to find such a place within the Pill region. I do know of a place that is filled with light and heat. A voice suddenly sounded while Xiao Yang and the two others were deep in thought. The three of them followed the voice and looked over. Coincidentally, they saw the smiling Xinlan walking out of the valley. Where? Xiao Yang rejoiced when he heard her words, and he hurriedly asked, Yi City. My Yi clan has a unique place that is called Sunfire Ancient Altar. The sunlight from the sky during the daytime will gather at that spot. There is a hole in the ancient altar that reaches deep underground. Occasionally, some core fire seedlings will drift out of the hole. When this core fire seedling makes contact with sunlight, it will transform into a kind of flame. My Yi clan calls it Sun Flame. Xinlan softly explained, this kind of sun flame might not be a heavenly flame, but it is far stronger than an ordinary beast flame. Some of my Yi clan's ancestors would frequently borrow this kind of sun flame and increase the success of their pill refinement. Unfortunately, this sun flame cannot exist for too long. It will automatically scatter. Xinlan's voice was a little regretful when she spoke until this point. Even though it didn't last long, the sun flame was still quite tempting. There was an unknown number of factions who coveted this Yi city. They were all after the Sunfire Ancient Altar, Sun Flame. Xiao Yang muttered this name in his mouth. This world was indeed filled with mysteries. The Sun Flame's formation was similar to that of a heavenly flame's birth. No wonder it was hidden as a treasure by the Yi clan. Based on what you say, the Sunfire Ancient Altar should be forbidden ground of your Yi clan. They will actually loan it out? Xiao Yang knit his brows and questioned after pondering the proposition. He had met those people from the Yi clan before, and he did not have a good impression of them. Xinlan also appeared to be aware that Xiao Yang did not have a good impression of them. She let out a bitter laugh before gritting her silver teeth and saying, they offended Big Brother Xiao Yan last time because they were unaware of your identity. If you go there again, Xinlan guarantees that they will not offend you. The current Yi clan was in a gradual decline. Only her grandfather was a Tier 7 alchemist. This kind of strength was not enough to allow the Yi clan to continue being one of the 5 great clans. If they did not seek outside help, it was likely that they would be swallowed and taken over by other factions. Moreover, from the way Xinlan saw it, who was more suitable to provide this outside help other than Xiao Yang? He had already reached the 7th tier at such a young age. Such achievement was not the least bit inferior even when compared with the so-called genius seen once in 100 years from the Cao clan. Xiao Yang hesitated for a moment after hearing Xinlan's words. He then gently nodded and replied, hopefully it will be just as you have said. If I can resolve the little fairy doctor's woeful poison body issue, I will do my best to help with the problem of your Yi clan on your account. Joy surfaced on Xinlan's face when she heard this. By saying this, Xiao Yang was clearly giving the Yi clan another chance. Big brother Xiao Yang, you can rest assured about this matter. Xinlan heavily nodded her head. She had already made up her mind. No matter what happened this time around, she would definitely make those pedantic fellows from the clan truly view Xiao Yang as the savior of the Yi clan. In that case, let's make a trip to Yi City. It is best that we resolve the issue of the woeful poison body as soon as possible. If none of you have any objections, we will head out now. What do you say? Xiao Yang was unable to say anything more after hearing Xinlan plea. He nodded and made his decision. After which, he turned his head to Qian Huazunja and the little fairy doctor and asked them what they thought. The little fairy doctor naturally had no objections to this. After some deep thinking, Qian Huazunja also nodded. He said, after advancing to a Dozun, I am already able to continuously absorb the natural energy and turn it into Do Qi in my body. I can also train while traveling. It is not a problem to start moving now. Xiao Yan smiled when he saw they were both in agreement. He immediately walked out of the Fallen God Valley. Qian Huazunja and the others quickly followed from behind. After 2 days of traveling, Xiao Yang's group gradually approached the exit of the Fallen God Stream. The human traffic gradually increased. For safety's sake, Xiao Yang's group put on dupengs to hide their appearance. From what Xinlan had said, the Ice River Valley had issued a wanted order for all of them. Although they might not be afraid, it would still be a little troublesome if they were exposed. Currently, Xiao Yang was thinking of resolving the little fairy doctor's woeful poison body issue. It was naturally best if these problems did not appear. The entrance of the Fallen God Stream was still filled with the sea humans. It was not reduced because of the flow of time. It seemed that there was still a countless number of people attracted by the sky-high reward that the Ice River Valley offered. However, the current Fallen God Stream no longer had a single Ice River Valley personal standing guard. Perhaps this was because of Tianxi's group being completely defeated. Hence, Xiao Yang's group did not meet with even the slightest obstacle and they successfully walked out of the Fallen God Stream. After which, they found a deserted area and hurried to Yi City from there. The Fallen God Stream was not far from Yi City. With the speed of Xiao Yang's group, they reached this lush, green city, situated on some plains, within half a day. The few of them landed in the city, but did not stay for long. With Xinlan leading them, they hurried to the Yi clan manor in the middle of the city. Around 10 minutes later, Xiao Yang's group arrived at the front door of the Yi clan. At this moment, the main door of the Yi clan was opened. The thing that surprised Xiao Yang's group was that there was not a single guard at the entrance. Moreover, the thick door showed signs of being broken. Xinlan's expression involuntarily changed when she saw the damaged door. After which, she increased her speed and charged in. Xiao Yang spread his hands behind him. This scene clearly represented that something bad had happened. It was unexpected that the Yi clan had fallen into such a state. Currently, Xiao Yang was not wearing a dopeng. However, he had once again put on the skin-like object that could change his appearance, causing him to appear slightly different. Xiao Yang led the little fairy doctor and Qian Huazunja as they slowly walked into the Yi clan. After which, they followed a small rock path and headed toward the interior. This walk continued for a couple of minutes before a large hall appeared in front of the three of them. Some furious cries were vaguely being transmitted from within. The other side of the members of the Yi clan was a group of people in black clothes. The aura of this group of people was quite strong. Clearly, they were not weaklings. Moreover, Xiao Yang was surprised to find that the two shady-faced black-robed elders leading them had reached the strength of 6-star dozongs. Moreover, from the majestic do chi undulating around them, it was likely that these two people were at the peak of the 6-star dozong class. They were a little stronger when compared to the first elder of the Yi clan, who was Xinlan's grandfather. Who are they? Xiao Yang randomly asked. They are people from the Black Fire sect and could be considered a strong faction within this Pearl region. Their sect is located quite close to Yi City and has been coveting after the Yi City for some time. It is unexpected that they dared to barge in. Xinlan tightly clenched her fist. Her low voice contained a fury that she could not suppress. The two old fellows at the front are the Black Demon Twin Evil. They are extremely strong and have quite a fierce reputation. Even grandfather is not match for either one of them. Xiao Yang slightly nodded. This was the first time he had heard of the Black Fire sect. However, the strength of these two old fellows was indeed great. The peak of a 6-star dozong. They were a little stronger than Bing Fu from the Ice River Valley. This central plains was indeed filled with experts. If an expert of such a level was placed in the Black Corner region, he would, at the very least, be an overlord. Zhao Hei, Qin Mo, your Black Fire sect should not be overboard. My Yi clan might no longer have the glory of its past, but if we were to really fight with your Black Fire sect, it will not benefit you in any way. The green-clothed, old man in the large hall was furious as he angrily shouted, Yi Zhong, you need to bluff in the front of the two of us. Your current Yi clan no longer possess the qualification to continue being called one of the 5 great clans of the Pill region. One of the leading black-cloaked elders faintly laughed when he heard this before ridiculing Yi Zhong. This time around, the two of us have come to incorporate your Yi clan under us by the orders of the sect leader. If you surrender, our Black Fire sect will not treat all of you shabbily. You will still have a place to survive in this Yi clan. If you do not obey, you should all be aware of the tactics of my Black Fire sect. The other shady-faced elder laughed and spoke with a hoarse voice. In your dreams. The faces of all the members from the Yi clan were filled with anger when these words were spoken. Yi Zhong widened his eyes and furiously cried out. Boom! Yi Zhong's cry had just sounded when numerous black shadows suddenly rushed out of the hands of the two black-cloaked elders. After which, they landed in the large hall while emitting boom boom sounds. Everyone's expression instantly became furiously green when they saw this because the black shadows were dark black coffins. Please accept these coffins if you do not wish to obey. The shady-looking black-cloaked old man smiled densely toward Yi Zhong. A cold, majestic aura slowly spread out of his body. After which, a roar sounded within this large hall, causing some of the weaker Yi clan's members to turn a little pale. Xiao Yan continued to remain by the door. He narrowed his eyes and watched the show that was playing out within the hall. This Black Fire sect really did not show any mercy when they act. He counted the number of coffins and found that there was one more than the number of Yi clan members currently in the hall. That extra coffin was perhaps prepared for Xin Lan. It was just that these people were unaware that Xin Lan had been following beside Xiao Yang during these few days. Xin Lan by the side tightly clenched her hand. Her lovely body trembled due to her fury. A moment later, her expression suddenly dimmed. She was unable to do anything with her current strength. Big brother Xiao Yang, please help the Yi clan, will you? Xin Lan is willing to do anything as long as the clan is well. Xiao Yang, who had tilted his head, was suddenly startled. He turned his head and looked at the blue-clothed girl, who had lowered her head. Her eyes were red as she bit her lower red lip. Xiao Yang softly sighed when he saw her. Relax, it is not as though this is the first day that you have been acquainted with him. Don't you know what his character is like? The little fairy doctor involuntarily shook her head with pity, and she softly comforted with a smile after seeing Xin Lan's appearance. Since I have already given you my word, I will naturally help you. At this moment, Yi Zhong in the large hall was greatly shaken by this ruthless act of the Black Fire sect. He looked at those coffins with a cold luster in his eyes as a desolate feeling surged onto his face. Had the once prominent Yi clan reached such a stage in his hands, and over Yi City and the Sunfire ancient altar of the Yi clan? My Black Fire sect does not wish to do something so ruthless. I shall give you 5 minutes to think it over. The lives of all the young and old in the Yi clan will be determined by your decision. The black-clothed old man smiled in a sinister manner while he slowly threatened Yi Zhong. Yi Zhong's face slightly twitched upon hearing this. His entire body trembled. With the current strength of the Black Fire sect, it was very difficult for the Yi clan to continue fighting with them. The atmosphere within the large hall had become extremely pressurizing because of Yi Zhong's silence. These 5 minutes swiftly passed by in silence. The dense smile of the two black-clothed old men slowly widened when the 5 minutes was up. Surging energy gradually gathered in their palms. Yi Zhong, you are the one who seeks such an ending. Do not blame the two of us. A soft sigh finally sounded from outside of the door just as killing intent surged out of these two black-clothed old men. The two of them were startled, and they suddenly turned around only to see a young man leaning against the door. Their eyes turned cold and a curse was spat from their mouths. Get lost! The young man ignored them. He moved his feet and slowly walked into the large hall. A calm, soft voice slowly sounded like a wave of water. 1 minute. Bring the coffins with you and get out of Yi City. Otherwise, you can remain here. The young man's calm voice was just like flowing water as it crossed the large hall. This caused everyone to be stunned. Such a tone was really filled with extraordinary arrogance. The black-clothed elders who were called Zhao Hei and Qin Mo were startled when they heard his voice. Their expressions immediately turned sinister. Both pairs of eyes looked at the young man, who was slowly walking in, like fierce wolves. A moment later, they ferociously smiled. A mere 2-star dozone dares to act so presumptuously in front of the two of us old fellows. There is still 40 seconds. The young man appeared to have not heard the ferocious laughs of the two of them. A somewhat lazy voice was emitted from his mouth. Kill him. Zhao Hei's expression was dark and chilly as he slowly commanded. A fierce expression instantly flew into the eyes of the many people from the Black Fire sect the moment they heard this order. Powerful Do Chi surged out of their bodies. After which, they unleashed their Do Chi together without any prior agreement and rushed toward the young man, who was slowly walking over. A jade-green flame surged out of Xiao Yan's body and transformed into a fire barrier. Those fierce attacks automatically disappeared when they made contact with the fire barrier. They did not even cause Xiao Yan's footsteps to pause for even a moment. Zhao Hei and Qin Mo were initially startled when they saw the jade-green flame that surged out of Xiao Yan's body. They suddenly cried out involuntarily, "Heavenly flame!" A wild joy and greed suddenly rose into the eyes of the two of them after their involuntary cry. The Black Fire sect was renowned for its fire affinity. They naturally had a great understanding of heavenly flames, which were the strongest of all flames. Brat, you possess such a unique item. However, since you have delivered yourself to us, the two of us shall kindly accept. Zhao Hei smiled. He exchanged expressions with Qin Mo. After which, their feet abruptly stomped on the ground. The two of them attacked at the same time and rushed towards Xiao Yan. Time's up. Xiao Yan let out a soft sigh and shook his head slightly when the two of them attacked. The space around Xiao Yan was slowly distorted while his soft sigh slowly sounded. Immediately, an old figure strangely appeared. His sleeves were randomly swung toward the two who had shot over explosively. Immediately, the empty space appeared to be violently blended by an invisible hand, revealing numerous spatial folds. A majestic and frightening strength cut through the space quietly like floodwater as the sleeves was swung. After which, it gently collided with Zhao Hei's and Qin Mo's chest without forming even the slightest ripple. Grug. The bodies of Zhao Hei and Qin Mo suddenly stilled as the wind blew over. The ferociousness on their faces instantly transformed into shock. Before this shock could completely disappear, two bright red mouthfuls of fresh blood along with some shattered inner organs were spat out from their mouths. Do-Zun? Yi Zhong was stunned as he looked at this old figure. Although not the least bit of aura seeped out of his body, he could still sense a dangerous feeling. He had experienced such a dangerous feeling before. However, all of those who gave him such a feeling were powerful existences who had stepped into the Do-Zun class. Since when did my Yi clan have an interaction with such an expert? This thought flashed through Yi Zhong's heart. Ever since their Yi clan began to decline, they hardly possessed any ability to interest an elite Do-Zun. Otherwise, this Black Fire sect would not dare to find trouble with them. While Yi Zhong was feeling doubt in his heart, his eyes suddenly landed on Xinlan outside of the large hall. He was immediately startled. He seemed to have recalled something. His eyes were suddenly turned to Xiao Yan. Although his appearance had changed a little, Yi Zhong could still see a little familiarity in his outline. He is Xiao Yan from back then? This thought flashed through his heart. Even Yi Zhong could not help but inhale a breath of cool air. The last time they met, this person only had a powerful puppet beside him, yet why was there another mysterious elite Do-Zun beside him after only a short 1-month period or so? This person definitely possesses a great background. Otherwise, how is it possible for him to get an elite Do-Zun to follow beside him? My Yi clan was blind in old age. We nearly offended this great being. Xiao Yan was naturally unaware of the churning thoughts within Yi Zhong's heart. He glanced at the fresh blood on the corner of the wall as well as the shocked Zhao Hei and Qin Mo. After which, he involuntarily let out a cold laugh. The strike from Tianhua Zunjia earlier had caused these two a serious injury at the very least. Even if they managed to recover, it was likely that a sequelae would be left behind. This senior, the two of us are elders from the Black Fire sect. We are blind to have offended you today. Please forgive the both of us. Zhao Hei and Qin Mo climbed up from the ground in a miserable manner. Their hearts were so shaken that they did not possess the slightest anger. Being those involved, they had a clear understanding of how terrifying the attack earlier was. By being able to defeat the two of them so easily, the other party was definitely an expert of the Do-Zun class. Such an existence was not someone their Black Fire sect could offend. Damn it, how is it possible for the Yi clan to be acquainted with an elite Do-Zun? We have miscalculated this time around. Once we return, we must definitely inform sect leader about this. It is best that we stop having any ill thoughts toward the Yi clan in the future. A camel that dies from being too skinny is still bigger than a horse. The mouths of the two of them were filled with bitterness. They forcefully endured the waves of intense pain that was emitted from their bodies as they rubbed off the fresh blood on their faces. However, they no longer possessed even the least bit of prestige that they had displayed earlier. In front of an elite Do-Zun, their lives were just like ants that were not even worth mentioning. This point was something that the both of them were clearly aware of. Get lost. If you return again, I will head to your Black Fire sect and accompany all of you with a little chat. Xiao Yan indifferently glanced at these two people, who were scared witless, as he coldly spoke. Zhao Hei and Qin Mo coldly shivered when they heard his words. However, they did not dare say anything else. Both of them supported each other and fled to the door. Take your stuff with you. Xiao Yan approached the altar and discovered that it was exceptionally bright. Moreover, the closer he got to the altar, the hotter and purer the surrounding energy was. Numerous substance-like light rays scattered down from the sky. After being reflected by the smooth rock walls, they ended up gathering on a dark black stone tablet. There is a hole that connects deep underground under the stone tablet. Some core heart fire seedlings will escape when the stone tablet is shifted away. It will subsequently light up the sunlight gathered here and form the sun flame. Of course, this was the case in the past. Yi Zhong softly sighed and bitterly laughed as he stared at the ancient altar. What happened? Xiao Yan slightly frowned when he heard his words. Since a couple of years ago, seldom do core heart fire seedlings come out of the hole. It is not possible to excite the sunlight and form the sun flame, Yi Zhong sighed. Xiao Yan slightly nodded. He did not need to rely on whatever sun flame for his purpose. All he wanted to do was borrow the pure, natural energy of this place to suppress the little fairy doctor's woeful poison body. Little fairy doctor, enter the altar. Xiao Yan turned his head and instructed to the little fairy doctor. The little fairy doctor nodded when she heard this. Her toes pressed on the ground and her body gently landed inside the altar. The dense heat and light energy around caused her eyebrows to turn vertical as she felt some discomfort. Xiao Yan hesitated for a moment after seeing the little fairy doctor enter the altar. He once again summoned the earth demon puppet. After which, he finally relaxed and walked into the altar. Old Mr. Yao, please stand guard for us. Do not allow anyone to interrupt. Tian Huazunja smiled as he nodded. His body moved and appeared on a huge tree by the edge of the open ground. Finally, he sat on it. You can rest assured that unless an elite Dozun comes to this place personally, no one will be able to interrupt you. Yi Zhong also wisely withdrew far away when he saw this. Xiao Yan slightly nodded. His eyes swept around him. There were many rock walls around this altar. If one did not approach it, it would be difficult to see what was happening within from the outside. Therefore, it could be considered a hidden place. Xiao Yan withdrew his gaze. He looked at the little fairy doctor in front of him, who appeared a little uneasy. With a soft laugh, he said, in that case, I should also begin. The little fairy doctor nodded when she heard him. She inhaled a deep breath of air and suppressed the anxiety in her heart. After which, she sat cross-legged on the altar. She straightened her upper body. Her long neck and narrow waist formed an alluring curve. Xiao Yang also sat down. He raised his head and looked at the countless lights that shot down from the sky. His hand gently caressed the empty air. Immediately, a warm feeling was emitted from his palm. He sensed a kind of pure light and heat in the sunlight. Not bad, Xiao Yang slightly praised. This was indeed a good place. Even if he did not do anything, this place would cause the little fairy doctor's woeful poisoned body to be naturally suppressed. Thus, they would be able to avoid the situation of having the woeful poisoned body erupt midway through, causing some unnecessary trouble. Xiao Yang's eyes slightly shifted. After which, they paused on the dark black stone tablet set in the altar. Yi Zhong had already mentioned that this stone tablet was the key to activating this altar. Xiao Yang's hands gently pushed the dark black stone tablet. A hot feeling surged from within. However, it did not cause Xiao Yang the slightest discomfort. He used a little strength and pushed the stone tablet aside amid a cracking sound. The stone tablet was slowly pushed aside and a head-sized dark black hole appeared in Xiao Yang's sight. It was likely that this was the hole that Yi Zhong had mentioned. Creak, creak. When the stone tablet was pushed aside, it seemed to have activated something. The stone walls around the altar slowly moved. Immediately, they formed a round stone wall, surrounding Xiao Yan and the little fairy doctor in an extremely tight manner. If one were to look from the outside, one could only see the towering, ancient stone walls. Following the formation of the circular shape of the stone walls seemed to have gradually become smooth. An increasing amount of light rays were reflected by the mirror-like stone walls. Finally, they gathered at this hole in the ground. The bright, dazzling light was extremely glaring. Although the sunlight had gathered, not the slightest bit of fire seedlings were emitted from the hole in the ground. Hence, the so-called sun flame did not appear. Fortunately, the light and hot energy of this altar were becoming more intense with the gathering of the sunlight. In the end, the little fairy doctor's eyebrows were slightly vertical. This sunlight left a searing feeling when it landed on her body. Sizzle, sizzle. Wave after wave of grayish-purple poison fog gradually surged out of the little fairy doctor beyond her control. After which, they collided with the hot sunlight in the outside world and emitted a sizzling sound. There is no need to panic. Xiao Yang comforted her and smiled as he looked at the little fairy doctor who had her hands clenched. He waved his hand and a crystal that was filled with a wild and violent energy appeared in front of him. It was the monster core of the sky poison dragon scorpion beast. Xiao Yan flipped his hand after taking out the monster core. A jade box appeared in it. The jade box was snow white in color. There was a faint cold air seeping out of it. A jade green color as well as a sticky substance, that was still wiggling, appeared in Xiao Yan's eyes. I trust you. The little fairy doctor appeared to be aware of the worry in Xiao Yan's heart after seeing his somewhat trembling hands. An alluring smile surfaced on her pretty face as she softly uttered encouraging words. Xiao Yan slowly tightened his hand. His voice was deep. I have already prepared for today for many years, and I will definitely not make a mistake. Remove your clothes. I will begin undoing the seal. Xiao Yan's expression was serious. His mind was the most focused it had ever been as he commanded in a deep voice. The little fairy doctor was startled when she heard his command. A redness swiftly flew onto her pretty face. However, when she saw Xiao Yan's expression, which was so solemn to the point it did not possess any other emotion, she gently clenched her silver teeth. In any case, this fellow had already seen her many times. She did not mind allowing him to see her another time. The little fairy doctor gently removed her clothes while possessing this thought that caused her face to redden. After which, her dress fell past her lovely, white, smooth skin. A suet jade-like, perfect figure was exposed under this hot sunlight. Regardless of how sturdy Xiao Yan's heart was, his eyes involuntarily flickered for a moment when he saw the perfect body of the woman in front of his eyes being exposed. However, he swiftly focused his mind. His eyes gathered on the little fairy doctor's body. Her suet jade-like body possessed numerous faint red scars. These scars were composed of a countless number of symbols that climbed all over the little fairy doctor's body, forming a perfect seal in the process. Xiao Yan curled his fingers. A jade-green flame formed over his fingertip. His eyes focused as his hand swung at a lightning-like speed. After which, it heavily pressed on the little fairy doctor's smooth abdomen. A sizzling white smoke was emitted. The faint red scar, that spread all over her body, slowly began to wiggle under his finger. The scar swiftly paled. Wave after wave of frightening deep greyish poison fog erupted from the little fairy doctor's body after this symbol swiftly paled. Her greyish-purple eyes gradually turned pure grey. This kind of greyish color contained the scent of death. It was without even the slightest bit of life. At a glance, one would feel a fluttering feeling that seemed to have spread from deep within their soul. When the woeful poison body completely erupted, this kind of greyish color would swiftly devour all of the life force belonging to its owner. The bright redness on the little fairy doctor's face swiftly vanished following the spread of this greyish-colored poison fog. Her originally gentle face slowly became expressionless. However, the pain and struggle that faintly seeped from between her eyebrows indicated that she was resisting the backlash of the woeful poison body. The little fairy doctor's greyish-purple eyes immediately turned a pure grey color when the poison gas entered her body. A deadly aura radiated out of her. The little fairy doctor's body moved and charged out of this altar. However, Xiao Yan was already prepared for this. The little fairy doctor's body had just moved when he suddenly stood up. His hand was covered in the green-white flame as it pressed onto the little fairy doctor's shoulder, violently holding her down in the process. Gather. The seal formed by Xiao Yan's hand changed as he furiously cried out. The green-white flame transformed into countless numbers of tiny fire seedlings after the cry sounded. They penetrated the little fairy doctor's skin and entered her body. Finally, they wildly chased after the grey-colored poison gas. The green-white fire seedlings from all directions covered every corner of the little fairy doctor's body. Fortunately, Xiao Yan's current strength was much stronger than before. Otherwise, it was likely that he would have found it difficult to control so many fire seedlings. The permeating grey poison gas began to swiftly scatter after being chased by the fire seedlings. Moreover, under the control of Xiao Yan's mind, all of the poison gas gathered in the little fairy doctor's lower abdomen. Slight sounds were continuously emitted from the little fairy doctor's body. Wave after wave of grey-colored poison gas hurriedly fled from the combined might of the three heavenly flames. Finally, the gas was chased to her lower abdomen. All the green-white flames gathered at this spot. They transformed into a fire circle that trapped the poison gas within. The vast, mighty poison gas, that was filled with a deadly aura, gathered in the little fairy doctor's lower abdomen. At a glance, it looked like a swirl. The interior of the swirl was a deadly world. Even an elite Dozun would not dare to easily face such a frightening poison gas head-on. If Xiao Yan had not been relying on the strength of three types of heavenly flames, he would have been eroded by this kind of poison gas into nothing with just the first contact. There was no need to even talk about driving it away, gathering the poison gas, replacing it with the monster core, and using the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva to. Xiao Yan softly sighed after sensing the poison gas that had gathered together. He suddenly grabbed the sky poison dragon scorpion beast's crystal monster core, and he placed it on the little fairy doctor's lower abdomen. The crystal had just made contact with the little fairy doctor's skin when she strangely emitted an unusual glow. After which, the crystal slowly merged with her skin. Part 1 end here.